Good morning, good morning, good morning, our beautiful community. Glad you guys could be a part of our community conversation. I'm Brother Hubert Naeem Roberts, coming to you from the headquarters and the Operations Center of Black Lives Matter Flint Incorporated. And again, this is our installation. We do this the first and the third Saturday of the month, where we have a time set aside for our community. Third Saturday of the month, where we have a time set aside for our community. Third. And what we're working to do is allowing this time to be available for our community, where people can come in and get some things off of their chest. In the process of getting that off your chest, we're engaged in solutions. A lot of times when we identify, what the problem is, it could be just like with our bodies and working to heal our bodies. When we find out, what the ailment is, then there are remedies to alleviate that ailment. A lot of times, if we really knew who we were and where we came from, um, in the beginning, we could eliminate some sickness and ailments because we would have done the things early in our lives to put those things in our body that are life giving and not life destroying, with the food and drugs and just a number of things that we ingest into our bodies that pollutes our bodies. And so the same thing with our minds, the same thing with our spirit, the same thing with our community. It's factual. What you put in is what you're going to get out. And so again, I just come to you this morning in peace and love and tranquility, and just really happy to be alive. A lot of times we continue to be faced with so many trials and tribulations, and one of the concerns is what is our purpose for being here? Truly, what is our purpose for being alive? What is our purpose as we see what's going on with our community and how people are so up in arms about many different things? So when you ask yourself, what is your purpose? You know, None of us that are alive were accident. And so again, what is your purpose? I just want to give a shout out always to our technician. Brother Mickey, is a real warrior, and his wife. And it's just tremendous that his dedication has been exemplary. And these things we have to really do to give each other flowers while we're alive. Our brother President Dewan Robinson for continuing to fight, along with other staff member Shatara and Nicole. We just want to continue to lift and Mike, those members of Black Lives Matter that are continuing to be in this fight to really be serious about being warriors and continuing the steps of our ancestors to make a difference. I want to give a shout out to Bob Brown. That was the guest this morning. He is recovering from his booster shot. He's a beautiful soul. He's a white friend of mine, part of the Wow group, along with Kenyatta Dodson, and the tremendous work that they continue to do in the community to impact in our community. But Brother Bob Brown is a administrator at Michigan State University, and just a real soul brother. He was going to be the guest today to talk a little bit about what his purpose is. He, being a white guy, he's got some issues with polio from a child, and he has a son and a adopted son and a wife that are extremely bipolar, and how he deals with that. And then he really has a heart for our community and for people in general. And then dealing with mental illness, we're going to talk a little bit about mental illness today, along with how are the two sides of racism, or how do you have two sides of bigotry and prejudice? How could there be two sides? But that right there will be a conversation, hopefully down the road. Today we want to do a little something, turn the corner on a little something about what's just took place Tuesday. With this election and some of the or the white lash, the whiteness of what just took place and how our community is so up in arms. It's interesting about black people, and it's appalling when you really look at some of the things that we continue to do, that we have been culturally conditioned to do. We have been seriously. Some of you may, or maybe some of you guys that may have had higher education, understand the Stockholm syndrome. And again, that syndrome is where you fall in love with your oppressor. And we see this across the board, from, the way many of us that speak out, stand up, or say anything about self preservation. Prince in 2000 at the Soul Train Award, when he was fighting for his independence from his record label, wanting to own his own masters, wanting to own his own material, wanting to own his own persons, was fighting. And really, no one came to his defense, but he stayed fast. And he was telling the crowd about owning your own material, owning your own music, and what that takes, because there's an agenda with a system that has all the distribution, that has all the stadiums, and have all of the resources for you to get your music out. That could be from the radio stations before this invent of the technology, because the technology just flipped it. Prince was ahead of his time, when he got involved with NASTAR, and started putting out his own material without going through the distributorship of those conglomerates that had total control of how the music would be sent out in the community. So when you, like Master P and them did, it was from the trunk of their car. And again, when you can control your own material, you can control your own finance. And many of those so-called drug dealers or policy men, the number men back in the day, now it's the lottery, but we want to vilify and lock up, people right now. They are selling weed from weed distribution, and almost 27% of people are still locked up for marijuana charges in Michigan, but they are selling it at marijuana distribution, cannabis distributions around this state, and you still have several thousand people locked up for marijuana charges. Again, back to controlling your own resources. We own no private prisons, and all private prisons are located in white communities. And again, back to our local election. We have people, black people that look like me, that are suffering and crying, and are just feeling so bad about Cape Field losing. Y'all think about that for a minute. And then we have Brother Murdoch. I'm putting it out there. I'm gonna call Mr. Neely and tell him I'd like to be his deputy chief director. Why not? Because I don't drink, I don't get high, I'm pretty intelligent, and I think I can handle that job. Why not? It's an appointment. So who have an issue with that? Brother Roberts being down there to at least have a voice of the people in his ear. So I'm definitely going to get a hold of him and let him know I'd like to have that position. All he could do is say yes or no. So you guys talk about that. So yeah, so this past election, what do you guys think about that in the community? When you see across the board those individuals that was elected, and how Miss Calloway lost her seat. What is the makeup of that body going to be, and what can we really do as a community to hold them accountable? I think that's what's going to have to happen. We're going to have to start forming little groups in our community where we're going to have to write down and articulate our concerns so we can hold them accountable. Not no hollering and screaming and playing and acting a fool where we are a joke to the world, but something where we can really start getting something done. I was out in Clio the other day, and what they're doing out in Clio, GISD, they taking a school out there that was damaged from mold and asbestos, and they are actually remodeling and refurbishing the whole school. They are gutting the whole school and repurposing it for the 22nd century, right? They're getting ready to put solar panels in there. Everything is going to be high tech. And these are the things that could be done with our facilities right now. There's no reason why our children should be bused out to Swartz Creek, Grand Blanc, Flushing, Fenton, anywhere. Our children should be able to walk to school. The school is supposed to be like a hub, like a mothership in our community. It is supposed to be something that's open 24 hours a day, that it is a center, a care center where it can have medical, mental, after school tutoring, swimming, roller skating, all kind of parties, all kind of festivals. But it's supposed to be a building that should have everything that you can imagine in that building, and those resources should be available for that community in walking distance. In walking distance. See, that's what when you talk about a city council in concert with a board of education, how they can be in concert together and not conflicting together. Again, we understand that there is a power dynamic here, but even with that power dynamics, this low voter turnout is totally unacceptable. Why? Why? What is wrong with us that we will not vote, and then we got the nerve to complain, complain, and complain? If you don't put nothing in, you are never going to get anything out.
Is it voter fatigue?
I don't know if it's voter fatigue to more said that is voter ineptness or voter ignorance, because I think a lot of it is they haven't seen anything that has manifest positively. And so they say, why vote? My vote don't count, which in turn say that they have always been told that they as black people don't count or don't matter. So why would they think they vote count or matter? So when you double down on a system that's already in place to make sure that you are criminalized, number one, and then you have no job opportunities, number two, and then you have the dope that was put in our community intentionally, number three, because right now, police and sheriffs and everybody across the country got Narcan in their cars for opiate overdose to make sure they protect white people. But when it was black people, it was prison. So that's no joke. So let's look at it. And a lot of times they want to say, well, you being racist, and they don't want to be told or taught the truth. These things are the truth. You know, it's appalling when you got people that are 40 and 50 years old and they say they never heard, or they're in their textbook, they didn't learn anything about enslavement. They didn't learn anything about the trials and tribulations of black people. Yeah, they rolled out Dr. King and all that was sanitized or whitewash, but it's appalling that Texas has the power to write and develop all these education materials and send them out across the country, and they actually literally eliminate anything black. And everything they put in there that's black is always negative, is always quote unquote looked at as less than or violent or that we are begging. And all that is amazing because they talking about uh, CRT, critical race theory, which is never taught from K through 12 at all, and it is only taught in graduate school. Listen, graduate school, that they even touch on critical race theory. But now these people don't want anything taught about bigotry and prejudice when that's the foundation of this country. Going back to our community, you saying about election and voting. We got our voting rights in 1867. And you would think about the Constitution listed us as slaves with no rights, no power. We were not even human beings. We were considered property. Get this, community, property. And so when you got somebody that can give you something, they can take it away. Think about that. They can give you something, and right now they got the voting right. Actually, the voting right legislation was designed that every 25 years they got to re-sign it for us to have the right to vote.
Why wouldn't they just write it in the policy?
Or why wouldn't it have been written in the Constitution? So at any time they can take it away. And right now with gerrymandering and all of the tricks that they're doing right now, they are taking it away. And the appalling thing about them taking it away is that we're letting them. See, that's what really gets me is that we are letting them. And we got these Negroes, these Negroes that want to play ball while our balls and their balls are getting cut off. But they are with their white wives and their psychedelic children, you know. They are happy about their duality about being half white. They want their babies to be half white and have Karen hair. You know, they be lucky. They love to have the Karen hair, and they want to have the whole saying that you don't want to be black. And so that's that whole psychological damaging that has been perpetrated on our community over 500-600 years. So where we are today is no accident. The thing really is, what are we going to really do locally? What can we do in our community to start getting our people out to vote, collectively engage in some solutions in our community? What is it going to take to fire us up that there is going to be some real changes in our community? And I think that is the real conversation. How do we engage our community in a way that they care about their block, they care about their home, they care about their children, because it is appalling what's going on in our school system. I mean, 2 weeks ago at Southwestern, they had this day where you cross dress, you just that boys came to school in heels and girls dressed up like boys and boys dressed up like girls. But they don't never have a day to really want to talk about blackness, but they can have a day to dress up like a girl and dress up like a boy. I mean, you think about the power of the enemy. And then you got administrators that believe in that and support that. And then you wonder why our children are screwed up. You wonder why our parents are screwed up. You wonder why our women run around here and want big butts and then big nails and eyelashes where the eyelashes are longer than their nose or longer than their face, and they got pink, yellow, and purple hair, and think they're going to go and get a job somewhere and think that's cute, that we are prone to the strip club and rules and all this other stuff, that's our identity, when totally, man, it is so not us as a people. Because again, I want to embrace our creativity. Don't get me wrong. A lot of things that we are doing, when you think about culturally, we've been doing for thousands of years with our hair, tattoos, everything that you can imagine is not new. We have always expressed our bodies. We have always used our bodies as a tapestry because we were connected to the ancestors, and we always have been uh, connected to the solar system. So we thought of our bodies as part of the universe. So it wasn't nothing for us to braid our hair and do many different things to our bodies because we were in tune with our bodies, because we were connected to our spiritual connection to the universe. So that's nothing new. What's crazy is it's perverted.
That's the question I was going to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to say this because it goes back to one council person I was here say Eric Mason. He said culturally difference.
Yeah.
I think that's what this problem coming from. Like you just said, I think it was Pride or something
Pride Week. Yeah.
that where they switched up. It's a culture difference.
Right.
That was not what we came over here with. That's what we have got turned into. We accepting something. Really, we need to take our kids back in the house before we can go back out and let them play
Right.
to do some deprogramming
Right. Right.
and then send them back out there.
I think you hitting on something really good about culture norms and culture differences.
Right.
And there are, in certain communities, just like in ancient Kemet and Ethiopian and a lot of those different areas, they were very pacific about masculinity and femininity. And back thousands of years ago, we would run around naked. So if you start there that we wasn't perverted, we was running around there naked. And we wasn't raping one another. We wasn't abusing one another. It wasn't no homosexuality going on to now I wasn't back there then, but I all of my research and all of my study, it is very clear that homosexuality was not prevalent back in ancient times. What it's when it started really creeping up is when the incursion of the Europeans started encouraging and encroaching on the African continent. Again, when you bring in other cultures that bring in their culture deviance, because that's what it is. It's a deviant behavior. You cannot. There's no procreation when you with a man and a man can't procreate. A woman and a woman can't procreate. So but then when you are perverted, like the Greeks and the Romans and the Vikings and all these other European people, man, was so perverted because they started imploding on themselves and started feeding on themselves because of their diet. Much of their diet was petulance because they had no knowledge of how to preserve the food that they were eating. And we, as a people, as a group of people, were vegetarians. We weren't ingesting because back to culture, we wasn't ingesting in meat. That's meat that screwed us up. Sugar done screwed us up. Everything we did in our ancient Africa was balanced. Everything was in line with our creator. Everything was in line with nature. Even the way we fished and the way we farmed and the way we engaged, we didn't put no animals up on the walls as trophies. We didn't hunt animals and put them up on walls. We didn't do none of that. Even when we went to make a drum out of a tree, we prayed to the tree and talked to the tree and told the tree what it's going to become. And then we planted a seedling in place of the tree that we took. So when we took something out, we put something back. We made sure it was in balance. So when you talk about culture, we have taken on for 500 years somebody else's culture. We have been culturally raped in this country. We continue to want to be something, and we have been created almost Black Americans are unique people from all over the world because we have been totally screwed up by Europeans in this country. We have continued and to this day want to be white. Everything we do, from our hair, from our makeup, from bleaching, everything, when you look at the videos of our young men, why all the women are light skinned? Beyonce's starting to look more white and white every time I see a picture of her. Even Serena and chocolate and I'm just appalled at Serena Williams. I know her father got to be pissed off at her because I was in love with her. But again, man, it go to show you about that psychological damaging and what it has done to us and what it's doing to us. And I'm so afraid that if we don't get a handle of this, the only time you're going to see a real Black man or Black American is in a museum.
No, I agree with you with that. I'm gonna go back to like we said with the council. It's sad that you can see some blacks sitting up here crying. I mean, I ain't gonna say crying, they just voice their opinion
Right,
about certain white members that's not on council no more.
right.
What did they do in their wars that have you looked at Flint? Like they acting like these people. You cannot really say not one council person that you can really go and say, hey, well, you got some, but I'm just saying the betterment. They can't say because the 4th Ward council person is gone, but you don't hear them saying the 4th Ward are ignorant people.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll hear that about they call the first war, but this be our own people who say that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get with the whites and beat up on our own people,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is crazy because if you can say they was doing so good, would the people not have voted them out?
Mm-hmm. I think what you're saying is again, Malcolm X said this very clearly. Malcolm said that anytime a Black man stand up with 10 toes down and speak positively about the truth, they can always get another Black man to tear him down and support a white agenda. So when you talk about the council or when you talk about people vilifying and dismembering and disparaging black people. It's intentional and it has been done so beautifully for 500 years. That right there, what you just said, is at the point of where we are today because, you know, we love white people and we feel we can't do anything without them. So anytime they are hurt, boss, we hurt. If the white man's house on fire, we house on fire. If the white man tell them to go to war, it's our country. And again, that psychological brainwashing is prevalent on the council and those people in the community that support Becky and Clarence and Bob and Bill. They are doing the work of their white masters, and we need to call it out because if you look at the fourth ward or all these different wards, and you say, "Well, what really has changed in their ward?" and do an analysis of how have the community in these wards been improved? How have the lives been impacted? And what really have changed? How do the school look? How do the street look? How do the houses look? Have they came in with any housing programs where they're going to make sure that every house in their ward get a certain amount of money to paint the house, for do the roof, to do anything to make sure these houses can maintain and improve on their value? Because when you think about what a city council member is supposed to be doing, he's supposed to be fighting for his ward. And by what he's supposed to fight for the ward, for that ward to have all the benefits that it can improve on where it started at. Meaning, when you think about the investment in a house, that is a tremendous investment that's one of the biggest investments in life. And so you are supposed to be able to take that investment and be able to open up businesses, send your kids to school, take vacations, because that's the American system. That is the American system, guys, to use your home ownership, to use the percentages of your mortgage, to be able to do a lot of things where you can make sure as you grow older, you are building up a nest egg. That's the American dream. But we keep living American nightmares where we fighting against each other over nothing. We keep electing people that have no clue. Why would you run for city council and you don't know what you're doing? I mean, that right there is a drop the mic. Why would you run for a position that you have no interest in making the situation better? What do you bring to the table? How do we vet these people? Yeah, if you vet these people by their receipts and their track record, by what they have done previously to being in that position, then that's something that you can bring and say, yes, this person is a person we need. Because before he got this title or she got this title, they've been doing work without a title. Those are the kind of people you want in positions of leadership, that before the lights come on, they've been doing something before the lights come on. That's real people, and that's real work, because it comes from the gut. It comes from the street. It comes from down deep. When you think about hip hop, how did hip hop start? Hip hop came from the internalness of a people expressing themselves about how they felt marginalized. It came from the gut, from the heart, from the soul. That's how hip hop was born. Jazz was born from the soul, man. When we talk about soul food, it came from the soul. You know, they talk about other ethnic food, but come on, when you think about soul food, when you attach soul to it, that comes from God. That's God's food that had to be recreated because we were given scraps and we had to turn scraps into delicacy. See, that's what we do as black people. That's how incredible we are. But they don't teach that, and we don't teach that in our homes. See, in our homes, and we're going to get back to our council because it's connected. In our homes, because even many of the council members were children at one time. And you think about being in a home and nobody loving you, nobody valuing you. That is psychologically damaging you. Yes, you can mask it for years. You can pretend and go to the best schools. And imagine, you can go to the best schools in America and know and learn nothing about Black history. You can get a PhD in America and know nothing about Black people, y'all. That is the problem. So when you think about the essence of how all this stuff is connected, and we always try to say a separation from church and state, that's bull. There's a separation from downtown to the north side, that's bull. Oh, there's a separation from returning citizens or somebody with a felony than some other human being. Oh, there's a separation from black and white. All that's bull, guy. That's man. All that is man twisting power, making sure that we are fighting amongst one another and not working together. See, that's the work of the enemy. But if we could get back to telling the truth about one another, and even sometimes there are some people that we have to either abandon or they have to go and do some work and then they can come back. Because even the Bible talk about people that has to go away, pentateuch, penitentiary come from penitence, where they send them away to get themselves back together, and then they can come back to the community. Because they done violated some of the rules of the community. So you got to go away somewhere, be admonished for a minute, and then you got to work your way back. And that's these same rules apply to everything in life. No one is perfect. Now, if you repeat a certain behavior, then that's who you are. Just like when we think about trans or anybody that chooses to go against God, because again, and no one gets here unless you come through the birth canal. So you got to come through the birth canal because they haven't artificially made somebody yet, right? So since you haven't been artificially made and you saying that I choose to change my gender and then get mad if somebody make a joke about your gender, then you got an agenda. And that agenda is not aligned with the preservation of Black life, meaning protecting Black life to eternity. So anytime that we want to engage in these other different aspects of life and we want to say that all people are the same, that's totally not true. Because if all people were the same, then we would have love and harmony.
So this is my question to you. Are we putting the gender over race?
Yes, always. Yeah. Agenda has always been from day one. Race is a construct. Race was a construct from the 14th century. Before the 14th century, people identified themselves from the national origin, meaning if you were from Italy, you was Italian. If you were from Spain, the Spanish, something like that. If you were from Ethiopia, you were the Ethiopian. You follow me saying? So it was always based on your national origin or your religious preference, right? Because you can be a Jew, a Japanese. You can be a Scandinavian Jew if you want to, because Judaism is a form of a religion. It is not a people. Catholic or Roman Catholic or Protestant, you can be a Australian and be a Protestant. So again, when we think about these labels have been designed for control and conquer. You think about the label, we go and buy a Gucci this, or we go buy a Fendi this, or we go buy Mickey and Minaj and all them people got all these different a handbag from Prada costs $2,500. Monica had some boots on that cost $5,000. Some boots that came all the way up to her thigh. That's insane. But that's what we do. Because again, when you don't love yourself, believe in yourself, understand yourself, you want to be something and you continue want to be accepted by a system that tells you every day you are nothing and no good unless you wear these clothes, unless you do your hair like this, unless you are a stripper. Oh, unless you are a football player or a basketball player, that's the only value that you have. Oh, as soon as you get in trouble, they let you know. Look what they did to Tiger Woods. Oh, as soon as you do something wrong, look, they gonna show you their whiteness. So again, our city council and those that have been elected right now, we got to work a way in our community. How are we gonna get our community start caring about our community? Start getting the percentage of people voting up. We need to be up there at least 60 or 70%. That's something that we must be working on. Back in the day, they used to have all kind of groups that would work to get the vote out. I mean, how from the 70s to we get now that people are just nonchalant about the power of the vote. And as you said earlier, why do you think people are behaving like this? Because yes, there is a burnout process. There is a psychological process that says that every time I lift my head up, somebody chops it off. Or every time I do this, something happened to me there. Or every time this happened, that happened. And that's all part of the system that's been designed because you don't control it. Back to controlling the resources. We have to be in a situation where we can start controlling the resources in our community.
But how do we get control of the resources in our community?
One of the ways that we start controlling resources in our community is door by door, talking to our neighbors, talking to our family members, and start pooling our resources. We got to have a conversation about what that looks like. And that starts real small. It can start now. They're building this store on the over on Cloud Road, a co-op that Pastor Flynn has been working on. My family is part of it, and it's going to be a store that's dedicated to uplifting Black people. And how we start doing anything like that is by saying that we are going to start shopping and buying and supporting one another. Meaning, if we know that there's a Black mechanic, we're going to all start taking our cars to the Black mechanic. If there's a nail shop, a hair shop, massage parlor, dentist, doctor, everything that we use, we should be owning. So how that works is we got to have people that will go and get the proper credentials and bring it back to the community. Those people that have moved out to Grand Blanc, Flushing, Davidson, Bloomfield Hill, or anywhere else in this world, they need to come back locally and bring their expertise and their intelligence back to the community. Say, I'm going to put my money in this community to provide this resource. And by providing that resources, that's how we change our community. Instead of going to a strip club and throwing up $100,000 like Floyd Mayweather, a lot of these rappers do, they go to a strip club. And even Gabrielle Union says she'd been to a strip club and spent $20,000.
But that's the sad part when we got people they can. I think we frivolous with money. Like that's the culture they got. Instead of go buying land, go to a club. Like what's benefiting you blowing 20,000 in the strip club? I get it, far as the young ladies is there, far as they making some money, but them the jobs we want now. We don't want far as when the money gone, it's gonna come down to resources.
Right,
What land do you own?
right,
What farmland we got? Could just say all the grocery stores stop. Them
right.
stop bringing trucks in. We hit.
We hit.
We ain't
And
got no farmland.
right, right. And that's by design. And again, back to brainwashing. Why do we go and frivolous with our money? We haven't been taught to respect money. We haven't been taught to value money. All we have been taught is to be consumers. So to answer your question, that we have no knowledge of legacy. We have no knowledge of ownership. We never owned our own bodies. So why wouldn't we just throw it away? We don't think many of our young people don't think they're gonna live to tomorrow.
Right.
So their mindset is I might as well burn out. I'd rather burn out than fade away. And that's real. When you think about in the scheme of things, I'd rather burn out than fade away. Because again, when I burn out, the whole concept of that is when you fading away, that's fading into senior adulthood,
Right.
and you leaving your grandparent and you leaving something. Now you teaching the grandkids. But when you burn out at 18 or 20. You living the
Right.
max life with the dope, with the women. You boning everybody you see. You driving all the fast cars. You got $20,000 worth of jewelry on your body, and don't know that that jewelry that you got on your body has been exploited by white people that have robbed and raped Africa, because that's where all that mineral come from, and you got the nerve to put it on your body when black and brown people have died mining that. That's another psychological insanity that we are dealing with. We got all this stuff on our bodies and in our mouth and don't realize where this stuff come from and that people are dead because of what you got on your body.
And see, that goes back to the sad thing again with our people. Going back to the council, like it's things Neely did that was bad, as far as that garbage contract and the way he doing business.
Right.
You know, I hear all the people keep saying, "Well, who gonna control Eric May?" Like I seen one guy right on there saying he need to be suspended for 180 days. This is a own black person, but K Fields can even handle 30 days. But you see how they say a one person, he the worst on city council, but he only one vote. The mayor send the things to him, send it to the council,
Right.
and y'all can't see what garbage contract, garbage still ain't getting picked up.
Right. Right.
But ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Then you hear him on the show talking about he only been there 2 years. You just complained on the last mayor
Come on.
about her mistakes, and it just seemed like the people that want to say they keep complaining on him. Y'all did it with Weaver.
Right.
Y'all did it with Weaver when she had get fires Gilchrist being on her staff.
Right.
Now Murdoch then got fires this drinking, which is sad. I hate it because it's a brother.
Right. Right. Right.
But you picked this. You picked him.
Right.
So that shows your leadership. That goes back to we got time to look over. Like his leadership has been really sad these 2 years he's been in office.
Right. Well, even when you think about leadership, you are no a leader is no really good unless the people around him are good.
Right,
Because that's what makes a real leader. A real leader know who to pick.
right,
That's really critical. Even when some of them are crooks.
right.
Because a lot of leaders are crooks.
All day.
Okay, so let's get that
Right,
established.
right,
Now, what crooks can do a lot of times that's really phenomenal, like Donald Trump is,
right,
they do the 3 card Molly.
right,
They're expert at magicianship,
right,
right?
right,
They can hide stuff, and they can have you over here, and why they doing this over there, right?
right, right,
Because some of the things that his daughter did with some of the money, a lot of money that her daughter was able to handle through the food administration, man, is just appalling how she gave contracts. Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka gave contracts to people that just ripped off the FDA. I mean, they just had people in places like you say with Murdoch. They had people with titles that had never worked in those fields before,
right,
but made sure they funneled their money, the money that they were getting from the government. They funneled it to their friends, to their sisters, to their brothers. I'm talking about not pennies, not thousands, millions of dollars.
But that's why I don't hold no blacks for when they do it. I just be mad with blacks when you will freeze out your own,
Right.
but you will sit up here and get these contracts out to the whites. That's what I'm saying with fires with Kate Fields. Every time it was a black business contractor came up, she grilled them.
That's unacceptable.
But she didn't do this to the white. She was so happy to push it through. And that's my thing with the council, because at the end of the day, the council still 5-4 fires black to white.
Hmm.
It's still 5-4, but we know two
Now,
of
when you
them
say 5-4, that's 5 blacks.
blacks to 4 whites.
Okay. And even with that, one thing that I'm hoping is that it shouldn't have to be 5-4 like the Supreme Court.
Right,
It should be what's right is right. Let's start dealing what's right is right. And then if we can have a real conversation about contracts, because this city is 87% black.
right,
Black people should be getting at least over 60% of contracts
right,
because of our proportionality to the population.
right,
Just like with Lear down at just around the corner, Lear around from this building, you got Lear. They got a tax break. They were supposed to hire X amount of black people from Flint.
Right.
They gonna say they couldn't because of the drugs and all that kind of stuff. That's unacceptable. See, right now, the majority of the people working at Lear are white when they're supposed to be black. That the whole contract that they got was supposed to have been at least 51% of those people working there supposed to have been black.
But when have you seen them honor their contracts? Oh, their peace treaties.
Never,
But but
never.
that's the thing. See, you don't see Koreans vote like we do,
Nope,
or Mexicans vote like we do.
nope.
You know what I'm saying? It's just sad that we keep going. We got to vote, get this person in. Look at far as the Democrats, they had them vote for y'all can get control of the Senate, right?
Yeah,
But you got Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema
right,
holding you hostage.
right,
They don't even want to get free health care, free education.
right.
Just how sad that, but these the people that we vote. Better yet, let's don't even go there. We voted for what's her name? What's her name? Gretchen Whitmore. Did she
Right.
say she was going to help to fix Flint water?
Right.
We ain't got a council person in yet that want to get the water fixed.
Not yet.
So we're gonna keep going through council. We're gonna go through another mayor, and the water not gonna get fixed, or is the water gonna get fixed when it becomes 80% white?
Oh, most definitely. But you got to get back to this. See, one thing that we do that is wrong. If we start, our only power, I know y'all get tired of me saying this, but our only power is our dollar.
Right.
If we stop supporting Chrysler buying these cars, General Motors, if we stop supporting Myers and Walmart, brother, we can get some stuff done overnight.
Right.
See, the answer is you have to make people do what they say they're going to do. The governor has to be made to do it. She's not going to do it. She take care of those people that got power. Listen to what I said. Those people that got some power are taken care of.
Right.
Those communities that collectively come together and got some resources,
Right.
they at the table. And like you just said, it's sad that we have a governor, especially behind Snyder, that this has not continued to be at the top of her list, convicting Snyder, convicting those that poison this community, because that go to show you they all are the same. Democrat or Republican or independent. People always say independent. Most independents are Republicans. Don't get it twisted. That all that name back to labeling.
Right.
See, they trick you with the label
Right.
because you look at what they action, what's their receipts. We keep playing, and we keep thinking white Jesus gonna save us.
Right.
White man ain't gonna save us, man. It ain't in him to save us. And just because these are his rules and his game, the rules of his game has to be altered.
More like what the truth need to be told.
The truth has to be told. And that's the only way we can break free. And we have been so comfortable and so afraid that he's not going to have the lights on, the water on, or the food at the grocery store. We so afraid to be poor when we are mentally, psychologically, and intellectually poor.
Oh, we ain't gonna be able to take a picture with them. See, we
Oh,
more
man.
worried about friendships.
Oh, yes.
You know, it's the friendships that you have. If these friendships that you got can't better the
Can't move you forward
right.
in the right direction.
I wouldn't want to be known to say I know these people. You think I'll be sitting up smiling saying I know Gretchen Whitman?
Come on.
And I know the water filthy and Flint.
Come
You
on.
think I would be? Because now that I didn't really like what Eric doing that. As far as he was down there, even though I know he fight for his war, I'm not with that. Are you smiling with these people? Far as the governor, then far as looking at the judge when he was saying the judge was all right because he helped him with his case. But then this the same judge that voted against Flint far as the water.
Yes.
Then you got these same people that voted. Even Maurice was one of them 5 votes that voted for that deal, and look how McLaren and pulled out.
Come on, man.
But it's like we don't see that, and it's sad that you got people that's going around vouching for these people that was on council that's not there no more. But they more happy to see that the blacks was gone. They didn't see no wrong with how I feel. I mean, not just K Fields, but Alan Griggs, like how
Yeah,
he talked down to people.
yeah.
I still see him making comments on the book, and they like he talked from like he's like he above them,
Oh, most definitely.
and
That's how he feel.
and we got blacks to support that, like overlooking it.
Oh man, yes.
Even with I get on Ain't Flow about that. I mean, when I told her when she was here, when she was about K Field, can't nobody make you say you people.
Come on now.
I don't know where they get this from. Like we can make you just be racist.
Come on now.
Like I don't get them with that. I don't get how they sit up here and capping. I don't how y'all trusting this white. How y'all trusting that person?
Right,
And you
right.
steady saying you don't know who the we don't what listen, the ones that was on there, if y'all think that Flint was better from the people who was just on this council, it was better. You got to be crazy if you can go outside and ride around, look through Flint.
Right, right. Well, a lot of times, it's not so much crazy. It's just psychologically brainwashed because again, when you think of fear, when you couple fear with ignorance,
Right.
because when you think about these people that can ride around Flint and think that the people that was previously in office did a magnificent thing, that Flint is just on the road to the Phoenix and healthy and everybody is happy, then that goes to show you that they are psychologically damaged because the reality is not true. So a lot of that is done intentionally because they are in they believe what they say. See,
Right.
that's the problem.
Right.
And that's the same thing with people believe that Trump is still the president. Don't get it
Right.
twisted when you think about intentionally wanting to be ignorant.
Right.
When you are working with white supremacy, brother, I can sit here and tell you that I got an apple in my hand.
Right.
And it could be an apple, for real, a real apple. But if I got the power to tell you it's a grape, you're gonna say it's a grape.
Right.
Because I got the power to cut your lights off, to cut your money. If I can control your money, I can control your voice. And that's what's going on. When you talk about Griggs or anybody that is perpetrating K Fields, to let it go on and on and on. Again, white supremacy is inherited and it's passed down. I'm not saying people are born evil and racist. They are created and taught
Right.
because it's been proven that your work speaks for who you are.
Right.
You don't have to open your mouth.
Mm-mm.
Even when you talk about Eric Mays doing the shuckle and shuckle, doing the Django, um, even he has some white inferiority in him because he's still black. So he's scared of white people too. Don't never get that twisted.
Oh, no doubt.
I don't care what you say.
Right.
When you think about willing to die for what's right, there was no time dealing with McLaren Hospital. One thing white people do respect, they respected the Panthers. That's why they killed them.
Right.
They respected Malcolm. That's why they killed him, man.
Right. No, no doubt.
Megan Evans, don't get that twisted, man.
That's why I say the leaders we got ain't nobody trying to knock them off because you're not gonna do no change.
Ain't nobody trying to knock Farrakhan off. Don't get it twisted, brother. No, I mean real talk. They're not trying to kill Minister Farrakhan. Because when you look at the scheme of things,
But see, I disagree with you with that. I see him as a way powerful leader than the guys we got out here, brother Roberts. I mean,
well, what I'm saying, we can disagree because I
yes,
think he's been complicit. When you think about what, in my opinion, the things that he and his organization could have done, because once he died, it's going to tell you the essence of that group. Because even you can see what's going on in Flint as far as how the few brothers that connected to the nation, as far as how it's not growing or moving, because you can say, especially in the condition that we're in now,
right.
the nation should be big. In Flint, in these municipalities that we are struggling, then there has to be something to fill the void because it's miserable. But nothing is filling the void. So it is hopelessness. It is total chaos. And nobody is coming in to say, let's do something different. Let's start loving each other. Let's start pooling our resources like Elijah and Marcus Garvey was doing. See that going back to the blueprint has been laid out what to
Yeah,
do, man.
yeah, the blueprint been laid
Man,
out.
it's been laid out what to do.
But
But
then,
we go by Maybach's. Man, we go by a 62,000 foot house.
right.
Who need a 62,000 feet house? Tell me, man.
No, we don't. but
Tell me, man.
that's the trick. See, because we got people in our own will scare you off from like saying what the nation should be stronger here. I agree with you that
Right.
it should be stronger in Flint. But we have people who destroy. So, but you know what? It just ain't the nation here. So MWCP ain't good in Flint
at all.
Show me one black
Man,
organization
not one.
that's working in Flint. We even having problems down here with the BLM trying to get people to stay focused.
Right.
To get out here and because we
and
got
care about the community.
Right, because we got a bunch of things that need to be did. We should never have nothing have to do, but we got so many different forces. They fighting amongst each other, and you've been in it longer than I have. I
right
back in March, but I done seen the struggle y'all fighting with,
right,
and I done seen the struggle with all different forces and entities that's coming in Flint. But the worst one is that the self hate amongst the blacks.
That's
the
it.
Nation probably could be stronger here if we had real, people that wanted to support Jaleel.
Right.
Jaleel couldn't even get people to come support what they had going on. You
right.
know what I'm saying? I get everybody what's named DeWine. We can't even get 100 people to come to do the thing with DeWine. But did you see how the whites was together for the mask mandate downtown?
Yeah.
Could we get 100 people for the Ajax company thing?
Nope.
We couldn't even get 100 people come to the school board, man.
Nope.
And the children, the babies, is
come
really
on,
lost. You couldn't even get people to fight for the water.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, that's what Flint is just a sad situation.
Yes, sir. And that's and again, that was good that you laid it down like that, brother Mick, because that goes back to self-annihilation and self-hate.
Right.
You know, it has been done. We have been beaten down so bad that there is no more fight left in us. And my answer to that is we're going to have to encourage and motivate our people to fight. Because we got to look at it. We don't have nothing else to do. And we got to call people out. Just like you said, NAACP ain't done. It's a joke. Urban League is a joke.
Right. I forgot. You're right.
Our own community is a joke. The pastors are a joke.
Sad.
Because everybody is chasing the crumbs from my plantation. Everybody is chasing the crumbs that are sprinkled here and there. Because they have, think about it, they have no businesses to draw no money from. They own no gas stations.
Nope.
They own no liquor stores. They own no lottery machines.
Nope.
They own no laundromats.
Nope.
They own no restaurants.
Nope.
They own no T-Mobile companies.
Nope.
They own no marijuana dispensaries.
Nope.
They own no automobile tire manufacturing, tire repair, no oil change shop, no nothing that we use every day as black people. We own nothing and cannot employ our own people. We got to beg somebody else for our total existence.
But when you grew up, you had that.
When I grew up, I had it.
You saw my kids
every day,
not seeing it like how you saw it. So how did we get so bad to now? And we got blacks believing this. We better now than we was back then.
Man, when the classic thing was Dr. King made a mistake because he integrated us into a burning house. That whole integration thing destroyed the black community. Integration destroyed the black community because they integrated our community. We didn't integrate theirs. And then they brought over the Chaldeans to make sure that when they was leaving the community, they gave the stores to the Syrians and the Chaldeans. So they brought them over from overseas to make sure that they would be the niggas to make sure that the black people in America cannot have a foundation to rise up. So they brought these desert niggas over here to make sure that we be cut out. And they knew that these desert niggas will make sure that they will assign their money to white people because when Arabs and of those nationalities come over here, they'll assign themselves more to white people or to capitalism. And then they look down on us. They despise us. You can look at the way they keep their stores in our community. So they don't respect us at all. They bone our women. They
Right.
fuck our women.
Right. Right.
They exploit our men,
Right. Right.
but they don't care nothing about us. And many of them, you should see some of the houses they live in. They live in mansions, brothers. Some of these Chaldeans and got these stores around here. They live in literal mansions, man, out on River Bend Road, brother. Don't get it
No,
twisted.
that's our fault though, because
Yeah, that's our fault.
that's our fault because we get people because they feel we let us become a mayor, become a senator, a council person. Them titles that they can take away.
Off the top.
You can go look at the one mayor that was in New Orleans. Then they sent his ass to jail.
Send him to jail, brother.
You see what Dugan doing down in Detroit, but he still got reelected
Still got reelected.
by the blacks.
Come on. And he was he was the prosecutor on that case with Malice Green. Dugan had never been good. He's an evil asshole.
But
But when Malice Green was murdered, then
right,
police murdered Malice Green, he took the side of the police, man. I hate Dugan. I hate him.
but that's the sad thing. Like even when
Hate
our
him,
people
man.
stand next to Chris Swanson this year,
Yeah,
we get blacks standing to him. He this good. Have you seen what you know about it?
yeah.
How the people getting treated down in the county?
Unacceptable.
But our people can stand next to these people. That's what's sad. Like, how can you stand next to your oppressor?
But you keep saying, how can you? If your oppressor is feeding you, come on, Mick. If all your
Yeah,
livelihood come from your slave master, what
yeah.
you gonna do, brother?
I'm sick, boss.
Yes, boss. I bend over and let you screw me in the butt. That's what you do,
Yeah,
man.
you right. You
You
right.
know, and so how do you say anything? How do you go home to your wife and how do you hold your head up? You know, you think about it. You live in an illusion. You live in Grand Blanc.
Right.
You drive your pretty car. You go to your black church and you cash your check.
But do they really know how the people feel about him in Grand Blanc?
Oh, I don't think so. I think they are reminded every day,
Okay,
but they still suffer through the anguish of being black out in a hostile environment. But they in Grand Blanc.
right. You send your babies to them, and they don't really want to teach your kids. I worked in the school system.
Oh, at all.
I seen a teacher say before. I'm
Yeah,
sitting up and I questioned him on it.
yeah,
Like this ain't the school I went to, but I knew what he was saying.
yeah.
Even though it was settled, like meaning this was all white school at one time.
And you think about it. Our most precious, our most precious resources is our black children, is
Right.
our young minds, and we willingly give them over to the devil.
Right.
That's what's destroying us. Right now at Durant Mott, they got 32 teachers over there. Only 3 are black. And the way them white teachers talk to them babies,
Right.
it's appalling. And the few black people over there don't say nothing. And it's a black principal over there. And them white ladies and white women, it's white women. I in my lifetime I had never known white women to be so nasty. In my life, man. It's just I'm 65 now, and some of the stuff these white women are doing is just it is despicable, man.
It don't surprise me because I look at the Emmett Till situation.
Yeah.
And then anytime, like really, a white woman can say rape as long as you black.
Yeah.
You can be innocent, and they gonna then tear your life up for 2 or 3 years till you can prove that you was
Yeah.
not there was a lie what she said. But
Yeah.
see, don't nobody look at that. We'll go back. See that when they found out she lied about Emmett Till, she should have went to prison.
Right.
Regardless that she old,
Right.
they locked up Bill Cosby.
They come on.
See, with us, we with the Kyle Rittenhouse,
Yeah.
they stacking the deck for him to
Stacking the
beat it.
deck.
For him to beat it. But we don't see nothing wrong with that because the prosecuting attorney white, the judge is white. You know what I'm saying? Until you clean that up, we're gonna still be in the situation. That's why you can get a judge why McLean feel they can pull away. Because
Yeah.
like you said, Flint is an 80% black town. You are a nigger to them. Well,
Yeah.
you are a nigger. Let me put the
Right.
ER on it. That's what
Right.
you are. They not looking at you as your life. You was to them, to their ancestors, you was 3/4 of a human.
Come on now. And still are.
And you just dealing with the great grandkids now.
That's all they
And
have.
you think
Jim Crow Esquire.
you think he gonna deal better with
No
it,
worse.
right. That's why you can see right now it ain't the every time the laws is really even with matter of fact with welfare. It's more of them on it than it is blacks.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
yet
sir.
they say the blacks is the reason the country is we more of us in jail, but yet it's more of them.
And then when you think about it, man, they privatizing everything. Michigan is a right to work state when the union really started here. And that's much of what's going on in our community now when you think about outsourcing, outsourcing, outsourcing. Nobody can have accountability. Even when you think about the trash trucks and you think about, you know, a lot of the contracts that are being created in schools or in our community, this is a right to work state.
Right.
When this was a founded union state, unions, the UAW, the trucking, when you think about Jimmy Hoffa and them,
Right.
they wasn't no joke. They built this country.
Right.
And it has been a concerted effort to destroy the union because that was the Democratic power base.
Right.
That's what the Republican devils did. And when you think about open borders and free trade, all that is a setup.
Right.
That is a setup. Because anytime your employer can fire you
Right.
or pay you 2 cents, what you gonna do? Quit?
And this supposed to be a capitalistic country.
Come on, brother.
So how you gonna put a salary cap? But see, don't nobody see that. To show you how sad blacks is, you know, General Motors in the NBA, them both jobs, right?
Right.
Just different pay levels,
Right.
pay grades. Because you both got to retire.
Come on.
But they got us so confused with the sports that
Yep.
you trying to get this ring
Come on.
for the owner.
Come on.
But you gonna never be an owner. All you is here is for entertainment.
Never be an owner.
Right. Then it's so sad. I watched the Colin Kaepernick thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brother, it broke my heart. I watched it, but I get what you're saying. He was deep down because even though he was raised by white parents, he was attracted to the blacks.
Come on now.
And then to see like the fight, but the Colin Kaepernick story is probably a story that all blacks who go to them white schools. That's why our kids need to be up out of Flushing, Grand Blanc.
Yes. Yes.
And if you think that's just happened to him,
come on
you're
now.
a damn fool if you think that's the first time that happened.
Come on now.
The reason we're gonna keep having them stories because it's been going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know what was thank you for watching it because there's many levels to his truth. And a lot of times they still want to say whitewash it and get over it. And what I love about it also in his transformation about his blackness,
Right.
even that he had a duality,
Right.
but he chose to embrace his blackness. And even with his intelligence, and that's another thing. Our children are intelligent.
Right.
Given the right resources, all of them can be amazing.
Right.
He was blessed to have the resources. Just think about our children having the resources he had, where they would be today. I'm talking about home,
Right.
structure,
Right.
food.
Right.
Even when you think about getting up in the morning and eating,
Right.
when you have that less of stress,
Right.
now not to negate what he was dealing with his blackness,
Right.
and even with his ignorant parents.
Right.
But even with that, inside of him, he was strong, man. Didn't you see that, man?
Because I seen when he went to the lady house, they braided his hair.
Yeah.
You see how the mama was like she was kind of finicky.
Scared to death.
He was never afraid
He was at home.
when he got around his people.
He was at home.
That's
he was at home.
Even though he was raised by white.
He was at home. And see, that's what I'm saying. A lot of mixed people
Right.
have to choose.
Right.
Because the blackness gonna override.
So it is.
What a lot of us do is we shuck and jive to want to be white.
We can press it.
There you go.
Yep, we can
And
press
that
it.
screws us up even worse.
Yep, we can
You see
press
what
it.
we're saying?
Yep.
When we try to depress it and hold
Yeah.
it down, hold it at bay, what is our natural instinct? That's insanity.
Yeah, when you lighten your skin, that's compressing.
That's insane. Yes, brother.
It's so many things.
Yes.
When you dyeing your hair.
Yes.
That's compressing it.
Yes.
I even believe with the homosexuality.
Yes.
You compressing the blackness.
Come on, brother.
That's just my opinion.
No, that's real. I respect it. I embrace it. But Colin Kaepernick's story should be taught in all schools, colleges,
Yes,
and
it should.
universities because it is America.
Right.
It is unadulteratedly America.
Right.
And his relation, most of the football players do not get the big money.
So don't.
Most of the football players don't last 3 to 5 years. and are broken up
right,
and will never be the same.
right.
It is a plantation because none of those black people own 100% of football team and never will.
Hell, they don't even own themselves.
They don't even own themselves.
You are bought and paid for. When that owner, when you walk and they call your number and you get drafted, see, it was truth in what Donald Sterling was saying. We might didn't like it
It was true.
because we caught up in the sports.
It was true.
He told the truth.
He told the truth.
Regardless if they want to believe it or
He told
not.
the truth.
Because he paying them. It was his money.
It's his money. He do what he want.
Like you said, when you going to work for General Motors, they own you.
You walk out that door. If you don't like it, get out the door.
Right.
If you don't like what I tell you to put on, get out the door.
Right.
If I tell you what to say, when to squat, when to bend over, if I want to come in and fuck you, that's what I can do to you.
Right.
Unless if you don't want to be here, then so I don't fuck you, get out of here.
Yeah, that's Hollywood.
That's Hollywood.
Yeah,
No, real talk.
Music industry.
Music industry.
Yeah, that's all.
So it goes back to what are the principles? Where is the principle of dignity? What is your purpose as a man or as a woman? When you ask yourself, what is a man? And a real man is supposed to be whatever he needs to be at that given situation.
Right.
If he needs to be compassionate,
Right.
if he needs to be understanding, if he needs to listen, if he needs to braid hair, if he needs to cook,
Right.
he can't be too proud to do any of that. If he needs to be strong, if he needs to be next to his wife, in front of his wife, or behind his wife.
Right.
That's what a real man is, because he ain't tripped out on no masculine, I'm Superman identity. He anything he needs to be, because that's what God is. God is everything he needs to be at any given time. See, we have lost our connection to our creator. That's why we screwed up.
Well, they say take it out. Do you remember they took God out the school?
Oh, man.
But you brought homosexuality in.
Come on, brother. That's done on purpose, brother.
Yeah, it was reason why they did a lot.
Oh, man, anytime you can dilute the truth,
right,
and put in the sugar and the Kool-Aid, then you come with Kool-Aid babies.
Right.
And then they have no substance to stand on, and then they're not strong because they will flow. Since they're not strong, then any wind that blows, right, any fad, they'll go along with it, right? Because they had no foundation. Right. See, when you have no foundation, you got nothing to stand on. Right. So anything happen, if they tell y'all women now they want to, their hair is blonde and they think that's cute. Right. You darker than night, but you got blonde hair.
Like they said in Colin Kaepernick. Oh, she blue. That's what I want to ask for. Did you see how his homeboy that was black that kept trying to tell him that the white girls was looking better than the black? Like, I didn't understand that. Like,
really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm me because I never thought that way.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I never wanted to date no white woman.
Right.
That's just me.
Right. Me too. But go ahead.
You know, so when I saw that, I was like, damn, self-hate.
Self-hate.
Like, he was trying to. Then I'm looking at the rappers now, who you see, like
self-hate.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
But it's taught. America teaches us to hate ourselves.
Yeah,
it teaches us from birth. All the commercials, man, all of the beauty queens and the Victoria's Secrets and all of the advertisement. And if you go into and look at all the magazines in the store, all of them pasted with white people. The daytime soap operas, white people. When you are born and you come out 1 second old, everybody white in the hospital room. You know what I mean? Maybe you got 1 or 2 black people, but the doctor, everybody is white. Everything is white. Everything white, 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 white. So you talking about in that scene with Colin Kaepernick and his friend, brother, you better holler at that white girl feeling you. Colin like, man, I am brown sugar all the way. Holler. Drop the mic, baby.
That's what I'm saying. It's just but that story.
Yeah.
The reason when you see a lot of these, when we sending our kids to them all white colleges, remember they the minority when they go to their colleges.
Yes.
That's why it's a must. We should send ours, but 2, our colleges got to come out of that. As I would say, that coon is teaching.
Yes.
They need to come on. We shouldn't be sending Boule out here, out in the world.
Yes, sir.
It shouldn't be that talented Tim. That's the thing.
That was the trick.
Yeah, and that's what they doing now. They trying to do it all over again. We got Jay-Z and them like, listen, Jay-Z cool, he doing that, but when you going to, why not get with the other blacks that got money where you can go. Why they not funding Howard? Why they not
Right.
funding? Alcorn State,
Right.
Grambling. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Why we not
Jackson
funding it
State.
right?
Yeah.
When you got Dr. Dre, you gave 20, 30, what 50 million to USC.
Come on, man.
Howard couldn't use that.
Come on, brother.
Like you said,
And
Jackson State couldn't use that.
yes, they could back.
Grambling State, like you can't help. We get money and we go support the things that they do and not the things that we need for our people.
And even with Dr. Dre and all of them, Snoop, all of them is psychologically brainwashed too, because again, they feel that Jamie Foxx and all of them to play the game at that level, you got to make sure that you are making the white man happy, or he'll shut you down.
That's how you know who real and who fake. Anytime you see they ain't mad at them, that's why I know ain't no mayor that we had you can really say, oh, council people. And as
Right,
much as Eric do, like I said, he do get out here and do things for his ward, and
right.
he will help you. But if you ain't shaking up the fabric of the white man system, you ain't doing nothing
You ain't
really.
doing nothing really.
How you a threat?
How you a threat? You're not a threat. And that's the whole thing that I mentioned earlier about even Minister Farrakhan. Because as much as, you give him those accolades on one hand, uh, not shaking nothing up. Not demanding, again, one thing that's different about Malcolm and at that period and Muhammad Ali, they were demanding.
I would say they was demanding. But they kind of, well, Malcolm not didn't get to really. His life was cut short, so he didn't really. We didn't get to see what Malcolm would be at now. We seen what Ali was at. Like Ali was good, but Ali couldn't. He was still caught up in sport and play to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because remember, his name had got took. He wouldn't have paid for his name.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was still dealing with. But I get it when you want the money because I guess I ain't been rich. So when you get them millions of dollars, I guess they quote unquote they seen this lifestyle. Like you say, you can go here, you whining and dine. Me, I couldn't wine and dine with nobody. I don't care how much money I got. Once I
Right.
know how you done treated our people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get me smiling with no Bill Clinton, or you're not
I
gonna
know
get
that's
me
right.
smiling with none of these elected officials when you look at the hate crime bill. Like
Right.
even vote, yeah, my first time voting was voting for Barack Obama. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right.
Because I don't believe voting they not gonna do nothing for us.
Right.
And like blacks, I was more with the old ones where we go create our own economy.
My man. My
You
man.
know, I'm not gonna say I'm against working. No, you should work. But I know you coming, they looking at you sideways anyway when you come in there.
Come on.
I don't know whites want you to have more than them.
At all.
Even your communities. That's why I feel like our people so silly when you look at Grand Blanc. Flint was looking like Grand Blanc at one time.
Come on.
Grand Blanc was landfill.
Come on.
But they don't understand that it became bad when they didn't want blacks around them. So I hope the people that the blacks that live out there, that y'all only out there. The reason Grand Blanc was made because they didn't want y'all around. The only reason you out there now because they're trying to get Flint back.
That's right.
So Grand Blanc will be looking like Flint when they leave there.
Come on. And always remember this whole analogy. Flint was the mothership. All those suburbs are the satellites.
Right,
Flint was the mothership.
right.
There at one time there were 35 factories in Flint. There were over 300,000 people working in and around Flint at one time, brother. 300,000.
Right,
You hear me?
right.
300,000, man.
But no,
That's our coal, brother.
yeah,
That's power, man.
yeah,
Like you say, all them other flushing, all them
yeah.
was weeds, was bushes.
And they don't understand that. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Once those black people started coming up here and couldn't read and wanting housing and want to be treated fairly, and we was making more money than doctors and lawyers, them white people started moving out.
but that,
In 5 years, they were gone.
but that's what my thing with this, with the urban, with the,
Urban renewal,
not just the,
gentrification.
NAACP, the Urban League,
Mm-hmm.
and what I say, Denasia Jalil, why who gonna come out there and help them to do better? I really don't care about the Urban League getting no help so far as the NAACP because that's been co-opted.
Right.
But I really do feel like the black organization, as far as the nation here,
Right.
and the Black Lives Matter here,
Right.
why ain't none of the black? Why y'all not gonna help them? Like Jaleel only can do so much.
That's
At the
all
end of
he.
the day,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it should be a collective group effort. But we got so many different beefs amongst each other,
Mm-hmm.
but we ain't gonna never work together. We worse than Bloods and Crips.
We are. We are in blood. That's a good analogy. We need to dig deep on that one because what my big beef is with the nation,
Right.
and I'm gonna make it clear. Maybe you can understand this. Is I'm not hating the people,
Right.
but it's all of us collectively because in its inception,
Right.
the nation actually Elijah Muhammad was a disciple of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was clear about self-determination.
Right.
So my thing about the nation today, and since its inception,
Mhm.
ownership, owning our own communities and businesses. Period. Drop the mic. That's it, man. No, that's it, brother.
No, I get what you're saying, but
But no, ain't no but. Ownership, because, and it's our fault, because our so-called rich black people
right.
should have been putting money in the nation and all of to build black communities,
Right.
to build black, like I just said, tire shop, dentists, doctors, hospitals, schools, nuclear plants. If we're going to have a prison, let us own our own prison to house our own people so we can help our own people
Right.
rehabilitate themselves.
But they do have schools. They have a school. They do have farm. But see, without going back to this part, brother, our people, but we don't own no grocery stores. They got farmland where we can do business. But why our people, they'd rather go buy. When we was talking to the St. John's people, when we had that conversation where the person would rather go to the white distribution than to the black distribution.
Yes, sir.
So why are people not doing business with the Nation of Islam? They farmland they got in Michigan, they got down south. Why we don't have black grocery store chain? That's what I would say on that aspect. They got it, but if we not supporting our own like we should, not just the ones in the nation, it should be people outside. If it's black owned,
it's black owned.
you should be supporting it.
So that's at the crux of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Ours is because we'll get with pastor. I'll just give you an example.
Yeah.
Like how we do go at white Jesus all the time.
Right.
I'll be 100% behind you. But you'll get blacks. Oh, you a Muslim. I can't deal with you. I'm a Christian.
Oh man. Come on, brother. Yes, that's real.
You know, we already coming with that.
Oh, that's real.
Not that me and you, and then it's so crazy.
Man,
We can't
ooh.
get the concept of a black God.
Nope.
We can't get the concept, but
Nope.
they still got Jesus picture up. You know that's not the color. And we know that's Caesar white dude from Rome.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like we can't even get that concept.
Right.
And then this would really get me with the church though, brother. This be my last speaking on it. Didn't God say He was gonna come select His?
Yes, sir.
So when you went to go teaching, what school did you go to? What theology school did you go to? Who had to certify you?
Yes, sir.
Who taught you this?
Yes, sir.
But we won't never admit that the same people that raped you, murdered you, kill your babies, kill your women, even kill you, kill your grandmama, your granddaddy,
give you certification.
right? And this the one gonna tell you this what this book is. Then we got
That's good, man.
then we got the other part, as far as where the nation come in.
That's good.
Won't nobody believe that peace and blessings, Master Fard Muhammad came to Elijah down in Detroit. Woke him. We can't believe that, but you want me to believe Jesus is coming finna ride out of a cloud in the sky.
Come on, brother.
But you want me to believe, and I'm not in the nation, but I do read on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I take theirs more than I take my oppressor giving it to me.
That's right. That's right. And I too, I agree with you 100%. And back to what you were saying about, and you are really laying it out. And I must back up and say that I'm acknowledging, the benefit of the nation. And as you just said about the teaching and the discipline. So I totally respect that. And they can only do so much. And you would think after all this time, over 50 years of working in our community to rise us up, we are in a desolate state today. We are worse than we was back in the 50s. Now you think about that. We worse today than we were back in the 50s.
We had less black millionaires.
Come on, brother.
The Black Panther showed you how to do the lunch program.
Come on, brother.
So why do we act like we don't know how to feed our own kids, like in the community? This the thing, like
my brother,
like how Jaleel doing the food thing.
Yeah,
it's sad You know what I'm saying? That we doing it, and I said it just be him. Why he ain't getting more help than he getting?
Come on now.
Why he ain't got the lunch program? But see, we got a black mayor,
Right.
but you ain't gonna fund the things that he got going. You could get funding for that.
Yes, sir.
We shouldn't at this time and age where we got blacks that's in these political spots. Well, we can't come help fund the people who got things going on. I feel y'all programs, y'all in the school.
Yes.
You don't see nobody on the podcast. I mean, on those shows talking about how bad the education is with the school system.
Nope.
But
nope.
How the kids read. You don't hear none of it. You would think all these teachers, everything is going good.
Yep. And it's not.
Yeah, superintendent. I mean, and I'm gonna shoot this shot. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna shoot this shot out there to all of them from 1 through 9. Why y'all not fighting harder for the kids in the school system?
My man.
Why y'all not pressing the school board? Like, I don't care about the new school board.
Right.
That's really coming in, to be honest with you.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to do the same thing, if y'all ain't taking that money to go build a school to become independent, find somebody else to help fund the giving in, you should be trying to find ways to come from that.
Right. That's right.
Unless you're going to deal on a straight up playing field.
On a straight up playing field.
But I can't see a billionaire talking to peasants.
Right. Ain't gonna never happen. Yeah, that dynamics is never gonna happen.
Because how long is the school board? All he gotta wait. He'll find. Eventually they'll get 5 or 6 on it because it seems like every time somebody get in there, they seem to sell out.
That's what happens.
So eventually they're gonna get even with the council.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, each mayor get to find his 5 or 6 to get things that they needed done. But if you black and you in these positions, and I'm not talking about you in these positions just to get, like you said, give your friends a job that's not qualified.
It's not qualified. And a lot of the qualification is not education. It's not no master's or doctor's degree. It's about your character. See, the real qualification, if you want to say about Elijah Muhammad and Master Fard Muhammad and even Wallace D. Muhammad, you know, I do believe and I know that our Creator is ever present. Right. It's us if we choose to get out the way and let it work. Because goodness is there. Being tempted by evil is always there. You know what I'm saying? And it's about which side that you want to live on. Right. Because we are going to die. And I think that's the big issue is about, and I love what you said. Jaleel, our community, Flint should not be in a, man, Flint should not be in the situation that it's in. Mott shouldn't have never left Flint like it did. Shouldn't have never allowed them to destroy St. John. There are so many things that we as a people should not never let happen. And Mott should have had a responsibility to always make sure that jobs was here forever. Yeah. Because they created it here, brother.
Right.
I mean, when you look across the board, Joe Manchin is still fighting for coal.
Right.
And coal was back in the early 1800s, man. Right. He's still fighting for coal people in Virginia today, man.
Right.
And blocking all kind of stuff. It's less than 13,000 people in the coal mining business in Virginia, and they screwing up the whole country.
Right.
How that work? But you see his loyalty is to the coal company. Come on, brother.
But that show you.
And that's him standing up saying, I don't care what y'all say.
Right. And let him
holler at me.
And let him know he'll walk away, become independent.
Holler at me.
I should tell you how firm he on with his.
Holler at me.
If he don't get his, he'll walk away.
Holler at me.
Don't care. He'll make the Democrats lose.
Holler at me.
Senate. That's how gangster he is.
And like you say, the gangster play would have been if Barack Obama would say, okay, y'all want to let the auto industry collapse?
Right.
And the bank collapse? Don't give them a dime. He shouldn't have gave them a dime. They would have got it right. See, I mean, back to standing on principles. They would have got that right. They would have never let them things, they would have changed. Listen, man, this is real talk. When you bluff, see, that's the difference in playing poker, man. Right. See, Barack Obama, he was hired to handle white affairs. Right. He ain't no dog.
Right.
See, them white people dogs. They pay bulls.
No, that's what you need in there. Like,
that's what you need in there, man.
That's why
he wasn't no dog.
That's what I'm looking at on that.
He a poodle.
That's what I'm looking at on that council. Show me the dogs. Show me the dogs on that city council.
Man.
That's gonna go in back because really the first thing they come in Monday, right? The first thing they should be first quarter of business. We finna go back look at that garbage contract.
Off the top.
We finna go back look at that deal that we made with McLaren. Since McLaren pulling out, or we pulling out too.
We pulling out too.
And we go ahead and take it back. But see,
and then the third one be the water. Holla at me.
No, that should be the first one. To be honest, let me water. Garbage contract
and McLaren.
I mean, no, water, McLaren, and garbage contract.
Right.
That's how it should be. Because the infrastructure, the way this infrastructure is, these potholes and all this, and they study fixing on the streets because we study having water breaks like that one yesterday, a water break. How can they, I mean, I'm just looking at it like, how can they honestly say, if you're going to say the council bad, you got to say the mayor bad. You got to say everybody up in there, because how do you keep coming to city council unprepared? You don't have this.
Yeah.
I wish today, listen, if I was on council, but I understand certain people, but that's what I'm saying. Only we can play like this right here. See, I'm looking at the whites that was on council,
right?
That act like that garbage contract wasn't nothing like Kate Fields. Kate Fields should have been like she is off. Eva Worthing should have been off. All of them who voted for that garbage contract, even that McLaren and this water deal, y'all should be off council.
Yep.
It shouldn't be no back and forth. And I can't believe I wouldn't care if it was my mom or my dad. If you voted wrong, will it hurt the people? I'm gonna scold you for it.
That's right, brother.
And this ain't no picking sides, just going with the truth.
Going with the truth. And again, that's what the truth, again, you don't have to compromise the truth. The truth is one, it's always been one. And I think that's our commitment to understanding where we are. Oh man, we over time.
No doubt. You can go and close it out.
All right then, man. I'm sorry, my brother. We got good. Again, this is our community conversation. I'm hoping that again we would like to build up our audience. And guys, listen, everybody in the community, if you have something to come talk about, we really want to be about solutions, but we got to be clear. And we got to be unabashedly clear about the truth. And it's not my truth, and it's not your truth. There's only one truth. Yeah, you can have an opinion or a perspective. Up is up, down is down. And that's what we want to be talking about in our show. Our show is dealing with up is up, down is down, right is right, left is left. Again, this is your brother, your host, your commentator, Brother Hubert Naeem Roberts. I am excited to be alive. I'm excited to be a part of Black Lives Matter Flint Incorporated. I got a beautiful technician here, Mr. Mick. I always want to shout out to him for his commitment. And again, holla at us the third Saturday of the month, and we will have an upcoming guest. Thank you so much, and be blessed. And again, love somebody today. Tell somebody you love them. And if you can't give them a hug, give them a COVID hug 6 feet. Wakanda out.